teams load into Champion Select. Freaking Jat, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dash. I am Freak. And to my right is a literal IPL champion, Joshua Jat Leesman.
IPL 3, the third one.
The third
More
IPL.
important than the first two.
That's true, because League wasn't in the first two.
And it was before the fifth one, so that was probably also better.
At the time, it was more important as well. Great Trundle and Udyr player to our right here. Either way, we got a battle up at the top half of the standings. Dignitas at 4-4, Immortals at 5-3, tied for second. And they can stay ahead of TSM if they can pick up a win here right now to close out their first round robin at 6-3 if they win this one.
Yeah, I mean, Immortals, every week I go into it and I look at their schedule and I say, could they be 7-3? And it's like, well, you never know is what ends up happening. But with this Dignitas game in front of them, there's so many games this week in the LCS where the teams are very close in the standings, and I'm hoping for a little bit more clarity afterwards, but what usually ends up happening is they just get closer and closer together.
Yeah.
So the fact that Dignitas is one game behind Immortals probably means Dignitas is going to beat them, so they become tied.
Yeah, it's a really, really tight race out here. Aside from the very top end of C9 and the very bottom end of CLG, you've got 2 games separating second from 9th here in this league. It's very exciting. If Felix is first picked, John's going to play that one. His 4th pick on this champion, doubling anything else. And Smithy locks in the misfortune that Altec had yet to play.
Yeah, Altec has been really successful for most of this year.
Yeah.
It's one of the big reasons, along with Xmithy, for a lot of Immortals' success. I'm also kind of happy to see Orange so highly prioritized. I said last week on my podcast JLXP that I think every team should just pick Orange. Like, if it's available in the draft, maybe a champion like Soraka should be above it, but the fact that you can play it in top or mid lane, it can wash most laning phases and then scale well later, means you should just do it. So I agree with Zabutine's early draft for Immortals.
Looks good so far, and a second tank might come through here as well. It's not Smithy on Szechuan duty just yet. It's the Nautilus coming through on the bottom lane, so an aggressive bot lane is here. Right, Nautilus MF can do a whole lot of damage. The ult combo, pretty good as well. They are not wanting for engage here, Immortals.
Yeah, and Aphromoo being on Thresh will give a little bit of extra mobility for Aphelios, but it's not nearly the type of protection that we've seen earlier in the year with like a Braum or a Tahm Kench pairing, so it's still possible for Immortals to attack that. And something that's kind of weirdly happened in this week of LCS drafts is, I'd say in the first 4 weeks, you usually see a jungler picked in phase 1, but we keep seeing both teams not taking it here, maybe because of increased priority on Orange, so people are locking in an extra solo laner early on, which pushes the jungle later. So we can see a bunch of jungle bans coming here in phase 2.
Yeah, it makes me feel like teams in general consider that there's a very wide A tier of junglers where you can throw a 3 bans at the jungle and it's like it's fine. There's still something almost as good. And by comparison, it means that, you know, top laners who are good into Ornn is very shallow, and aiding carries as good as Aphelios is very shallow, and supports outside of Nautilus very shallow. And so, you know, I think that does make sense if they're really kind of picking for optimum power.
Yeah, with the Syndra ban by Dignitas, I do wonder if the Sejuani does get picked here by Xmithy, since they banned away Olaf, which is something that can kind of run over the Sej early. A lot of options still up, though. You can try and blind a power pick mid, or you can pick your jungler here, but knowing Xmithy.
Yeah. Back at Sejuani, this is before 10.4. The center hook buffs are not in on this patch they're playing on right now, but we know we're going to see a whole lot more of her, probably in the ban phase, in next weekend's games. But Sejuani is in. Very, very big front line, right? 3 gigantic beefy tanks ready to dive forward. MF can do plenty of damage in the back line, and we're going to see if Ica can put out damage himself. Should be possible.
Dignitas needs to make sure they get a little bit of damage. They can just take the Jarvan. They're trying to match with some early ganks for Grigg. I'd say their composition does have the ability to shred through frontline. Mordekaiser, as a Juggernaut, can be an incredibly high damage champion. Usually builds the Leandries early, is good against a group of tanks. And then Aphelios, once he hits 3 items, can heavily shred tanks. So they don't really have an issue in the DPS department. I think it leaves a lot of flexibility here for Froggen's pick.
All right, gonna go to Orianna here.
Yeah, this is going to be his 5th Orianna game in 9. So by far his most played pick. He's currently 2-2 on it. And I have really mixed feelings on his Orianna, where I know he's really good at it, and he almost always wins lane. But this is going to be like my personal opinion. I don't necessarily like him on Orianna right now, because so many of Dig's games go late, and the late game reliability of Orianna is too low for me. I would rather see him just play Victor because he's a talented enough laner that he's going to be able to power up, and that damage would be more reliable. But we know they clearly have a preference for Ori. It's now the 5th pick, and it's matched with a Corki, so we're clearly looking to go late game in that mid lane.
Well, talking about preferences there, like I just played it last week. They did lose, but he went 3-1-1. I really am a big fan of Corki in the current patch. I think he's very, very strong, and you mentioned going late. I mean, they definitely do need reliable damage and magic damage to fill out the team composition. Otherwise, Mordekaiser gets invincible with a bunch of armor stacking. So I think it's the right pick for the situation, and I think Ica performs well on the champ.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to track that mid lane as we move in. Like, how much can Froggen win that lane by, and what can he make happen with that pressure? Because the games where it hasn't worked for Froggen's Orianna has been up 20 CS, but doesn't take mid lane tower, doesn't make the successful roams. It's like the cookie cutter criticism of Froggen sometimes happen when he's on this pick.
All right, we'll see if he can get his way out of the lane and get things to happen for this squad. Dignitas and Immortals 1 game apart as they load into the Rift here, game 3 of the day of the LCS. Immortals tied for second, hoping to push through and above FlyQuest with the win here. Dignitas can kind of tie up for third. They can grab this one themselves, and it's going to be exciting to watch who can do what. Probably thought that Froggen was MIG-diff in this game, more so than anywhere else, but Mark said it was all about the jungle difference, and that Xmithie, we already know he's one of the very best players in NA of all time. That is not up for debate. Will he carry his team yet again? As Immortals sit 5-3 above many expectations. They can take this one down. We are on the Rift here, the game.
And calling back that analyst test segment, I'm a little on the side of Prawley in the fact that I don't think Grig is as bad as a lot of people say. And it's not to say that Grig is a super top tier LCS jungler, but I want to see more of Grig taking control of the game rather than being like an errand boy who runs around from lane to lane.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like he's struggled in the past. But when he actually does go aggressive, I feel like he's been fairly successful.
Well, he's up tasked with fighting Immortals here in this one, and Avli standing by with Coach Zabutin.
Thanks, guys. I've got Zob with me. Immortals currently 5-3 coming into this game. I wanted to pick your brain on the current sentiment around Immortals, wondering how long can you keep up the success for?
I mean, as long as we keep working, it should be fine. I don't think that anyone besides C9 is showing an insane performance. Otherwise, it's not like Immortals playing horrible, and I don't know, TSM, One on Fizz are playing amazing as well. We kind of all have to catch up to the the train. So at the moment, I mean, we have a small lead. It's not like we're by far the second, but we don't play worse than any other team. So I don't really mind or care about what to say about the team.
Now, before we got into this game, the analyst desk was looking at skill discrepancy between the mid and junglers. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know.
No skill discrepancy whatsoever, but Zob, I'll let you get back to the backstage, but good luck. Back to you guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, definitely do have a very tight race here in the LCS as we close up the first round robin. 9 games in will be the record for most of the teams at the end of the day.
Omnistone Corki again.
Love it.
I'll talk about Omnistone a little bit more throughout, but I wanted to touch on Zabutin's interview right there. And you and I were talking about this before the cast as well, of what do we make of Immortals at 5-3?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people really want to say oh, are they the second best team? Let's start defending them as a top team in the LCS. I would rather just talk about celebrate the success of getting the 5 wins so far, and know that everyone in the LCS is very close. 1 win separates Immortals from Dig, and I think 2 wins separated second from 9th in the LCS so far. So what I think Immortals has done well, as we actually see Grig going for a successful invade thanks to Aphromoo. I'll get back to this point because we might have skirmish in the jungle.
Yeah, 3v3 going on right now. Nice little snipe. They're going to find that hook as well. A lot of damage to knock, and they push him back in as well. 2 more autos will kill him. He gets the heal, and he walks away just barely enough as a nice auto lets Grig steal away the Gromp, and it's a 2-camp lead. It's 3 minutes in, and Xmithie has killed exactly 1 camp.
And Freak, that's the type of aggressive Grig that I like to see, right? He's taking charge. His support is following Grig into the jungle rather than calling Grig down to his lane, really starving out Xmithie early in the game. But overall with Immortals, we'll see as this game kind of progresses. What Zabutin said kind of at the start of the year is, hey, I just got a bunch of really smart players, and even though we didn't have that much practice before the season, we're going to be able to win games that way. And I think that's been how they found a lot of their success, and if they are to continue winning, it's about making sure they can get to these mid and late games with win conditions intact so that their experience and smart players can find their way to victory.
And so far, it's been pretty good for them, right? Immortals 5-3, and on the Dignitas side, of course, 4-4, and looking very good right now in this early game. Is finally Xmithie gets his recall off, gets some control wards, and tries to get some vision and stuff done. Grig, though, gets the top scuttle now as well, level 4, has a 2-level lead, and gonna look to maybe stop his opponent at Krugs.
Yeah.
Top is pushing. Hooney's been shoving pretty much permanently there, and Grig, does he EQ over the wall?
Yeah.
He goes for it. The smite comes down, though. That is some XP
They
onto
might
Xmithie.
just kill him.
But he is flashless. The flash E, but he's gonna get the auto attack in, and first blood in the opposing jungle. Dignitas will not be stopped.
There is Grig. At first, when I saw him making that invade, I think, hey, like, take the win. Your whole jungle is up. You're already ahead. Like, go farm your camps. But he predicted where Xmithie would be. He got him with the Squire's Bloom. He had the top lane pressure through Hooney. Like, Dignitas really coming out of the gate firing. So, like, watching where this Blast Cone hits, like, Xmithie knows that he's spotted, but he says, okay, I have Smite. I should be able to just secure this, but Xmithie, dude, you don't have Flash.
Yeah.
Like, Soaz can't follow Hooney in. He's just going to die there. So really nice aggressive play, and Xmithie kind of uncharacteristically doesn't respect the other jungler having the upper hand. And ooh, oh man.
I'm not sure if Afro jumped out of the brush or not. Hako gonna walk into melee range, puts the wards down. Gets the smite, gets the flay into 2, but it's a 3v1. Afro's got to be careful. Here comes Froggen for his shield, but yeah, Afro gets himself killed, and Hooney's in the middle of 4. But the damage on Xmithie, it's already 2 kills in. Finally, 1 traded back. This could be very nice. The knock is what he found. The ward is there. It's still a win for Immortals, 2-1 on that fight.
5v5 at Raptors.
Woo!
There we go. We know some people talk about the bot lane party, the mid lane or top lane party. No, the Raptor party. That's what we have going on. In this one, Grig does pick up another kill, and Xmithie does die again, so that gap will be even bigger. But the fact that there were kills going over Immortals does help them catch up.
Yeah, they never saw him, so Hako goes for the ward, and
Yeah.
Afro's like, all right, we're gonna bring the squad over. We've got time, let's go. But I think it's already there.
Ornn interrupted recall in order to get this off, and yeah, it's just a little bit later. If Hafumu could have waited a little bit longer, then it might have worked out for Dig, but Immortals definitely more grouped and on the same page for that play.
I think it comes down grabbing 2 assists for himself. He is down 7 CS. It's Froggen getting better farm, which is exactly what you expect out of that player. But Ike getting the first move, gets onto the board a little bit there. As Grig, though, still feeling so comfortable in the jungle. He's still got pushing lanes. Bots crashing into the turret right now. And it's going to be a pretty easy mountain drake grab very early on in the game. 1,000 gold lead just in the jungle matchup. But the game is only 700 apart. So Immortals are winning in the other lanes on aggregate.
Yeah, so there's the 300 gold advantage for Altec because of the kill he was able to pick up. And Grig actually, 1,000 gold up on Xmithie, only 1 level, actually, because a lot of the time has actually been spent in trying to deny. The big thing we'll now kind of need to track is, like, what's Jarvan going to be in this game? Because looking at the team composition for Dignitas, this might be a tank Jarvan game, right? You're going to have a bunch of damage coming out from your Juggernaut. Mordekaiser, Johnson's going to scale up into the late game. But there's always that question when you have that early start on Jarvan, like, maybe I just go Warrior and try and hard carry. Because if you go Cinderhulk, this lead, while nice, it actually won't have a huge amount of carry through.
Yep, totally agree. I would actually really not mind Warrior here for Grig and look at him try
I'm
to
not sure.
knock people down. Of course, the other problem is his targets are so few, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 tanks and a Corki who's going to Valkyrie away from most of your plays. It's an instant cast spell. You're pretty much always going to dodge the EQ or dodge the ultimate. So as much as Warrior would be fun, target selection's horrible, which is going to make that rough. And there's Cinderhulk done. I think we weren't really surprised by that. He gets it early, that can help maybe. We'll see how that, turns in. But yeah, not converting into much damage.
Something that, you're right, Cinderhawk goes through. He had the right gold breakpoint for it. Something Doublelift used to always say about Xmithie as they were winning 4 consecutive championships on Team Liquid was like, no matter what happens in the early game,
Good lantern.
really good Lantern, as bolt time gets almost nothing. Back to Xmithie is, no matter how bad the early game went, Xmithie could always make the next plan. So Xmithie could be like 2 levels down and say, yeah, at 8 minutes, I'm gonna be level 6 and I'll be able to gank bot. And then it would happen. So, like, yes, the early game went really poorly, but, like, let's see how Xmithie finds his way back into the game. He's hard farming his jungle. that's clearly communicated to a lot of these players. You can see Soaz kind of sitting in his turret. Altec and Hakuho just took that recall. How well can Immortals kind of weather this storm until Xmithy gets his ult and gets Cinderhulk?
Well, they weathered the storm, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
Still 1,000 gold difference is the problem. It's actually, the gold difference has been growing over the course of time. And that's going to be something that Immortals, of course, have to work back from. But Xmithy is, no longer being killed in his jungle. He's only 1 level down. Time to go until the Cinderhulk's done, of course, because he doesn't have those extra kills on himself. But as the Krugs come back up, thank you, 30-second respawn timer. And, got to be ready to get more gold and XP on that camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Grig still scuttle control. And we also know from these team compositions, like, we're probably going late game with the way the Mordekaiser or Orianna kind of function. You're not thinking to smash the early laning phase and tower dive with those picks.
Yeah, burning down some minions, though. Often it's hard to find the actual roam with the Corki package, but able to get very quick wave clear. This means Laika's got 20 seconds of freedom to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But he spends those 20 seconds actually just sitting in lane and then showing Frog and he's still there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with actually showing you didn't roam when the river's not lit up. You can actually use that time to say, hey, maybe we have to make their bot laner play afraid. Maybe we have to, make them call Grig over just in case Corki really did show up with the 25 seconds of freedom. It's a really minor thing, but it is worth playing mind games.
I agree. I don't think he should actually go on the river because your jungler was in base, but just going into fog after you pushed out the wave, totally fine. Speaking of the river.
Yep. Junglers seeing each other. I believe they both knew what was going on. Smithy blast cones away and stays on his side of the map as Grig looks for him and can't find him just yet. But yeah, nothing too big picked up. The mid lane ward was killed off. That was nice by Froggen. Got the push again and killed the control ward. Jungle being around, obviously, important part of that one. As bot is pushing it again. Pretty equal CS down there. Very small leads to Altec. The kill as well as the slightly extra farm. But a little bit of a worse item break point, right? Did go for Berserker Greaves. I do like the movement speed. I think it's a very efficient buy, but not as much attack damage as Johnson has.
Looks like we might see a Rift bot. With Drake coming up in 50 seconds, Grig didn't want to have that sit in his pocket. This is not going to be a turret-breaking Rift, so it'll be one of those 2-plate Rifts. Likely. Yeah, they're going to try and give all the gold to Johnson, and then he's out of there.
Yep. So one thing that changed, because last year it wasn't like this because someone sent me video of it not happening.
Okay.
If you summon Herald, you are automatically eligible for turret plate gold.
And that's why Grig got 120 and Johnson got 120, because 2 plates were taken and they split.
Right, because Johnson was in range for the local and Grig was just in the extended I helped range. But I know like a year or a year and a half ago, like someone sent me video of LCS where the goldie didn't go up when they like summoned a Herald and AFK'd, and the jungler didn't get 300 gold from the plate. So that got added sometime recently, and a little while ago I was like, oh, you have to make sure you're in range. Apparently not anymore.
Yeah, another 5-3 versus 4-4 matchup coming up right after this in terms of how close the middle of the pack in the LCS standings are going to be.
In general, an LCS game is 5-5 versus 4-3. I think roughly today, that's most of the records on display. I guess literally half because of the 4 games. But regardless, it's still Dignitas feeling very good. And I honestly credit a lot of this to the early invades from Grig back 2.5 minutes into the game. It's still paying fruit because Immortals can't get the control back. And now actually a potential play. They landed in, they play him backwards, and Hakuho got to make the long walk away. The flash got him nowhere, not over the wall, and Froggen is on the board of the kill.
And they nicely handed that kill to Froggen, holding auto attacks down the stretch. And Freak, I agree with you. The early lead has just kind of frozen there for Dignitas, and it's allowed them to control those 2 dragons and the Rift Herald. A lot of that had to do with pushing lanes. And again, it's like they just have river control. So there's no vision in the river for Immortals. Not an effective flash from Hakuho.
No.
He was hoping to be able to flash and then Dredgeline, probably, but really now, that's just a flashless support to try and pick on.
They might target him yet again as the gold grows to a 1,700 lead, plus the 2 Drakes. Dignitas definitely taking care of business, and I think they really need this. They started the season, I should say, 3-0, and then immediately fell to 4-4 afterwards. And it's like, okay, well, they started out as such a heavy favorite, and people were like really ready to believe in the Dignitas hype train, and then when they dropped 4 of 5, it was like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't be on the hype train, but they're looking very good here.
They really are, and every Dignitas game is like an update on our understanding of team strength. So like, if you can try and remember which teams we thought were strong coming into the season, as we see in beta, I might get back to this. Okay, which teams we thought were strong heading into the season, and you look at their first 3 wins, it's like they beat EG, they beat Liquid, and they beat CLG. the first game against COG, like, COG was a third-place team in summer.
Yep.
So we're like, hey, great win. EG, they were talking about how great their boot camp was and how they were looking to be in a top 3, top 2 team.
MVP jungler.
Yeah, exactly, with Svenskeren. And then Liquid, Liquid,
It's
four-time
Liquid.
champions. Sure, they didn't have their starting jungler, but they still have 4 other top-tier players. So we're thinking, damn, those 3 wins by Dignitas, so amazing. We evaluate COG, EG, and Liquid now, and we think, hey, maybe those teams weren't amazing at the start of the year. Then losses to FlyQuest, TSM, Cloud9, and Golden Guardians with a win against 100 Thieves. And here we are at 4-4, I think with a much more accurate understanding of Dignitas being a solidly middle-of-the-pack team with aspirations to reach into the top end.
And hey, aspirations to be in the top end. I mean, Immortals right here, right? Tied for second as a squad, and Dignitas can absolutely take them down here. The gold lead has jumped now to 2,000. They are steadily growing more and more and more of a lead.
Hello.
We were singing the Cloud9 accolades of their, 2-ish thousand gold lead in the early game. That's exactly where Dignitas stand right now. I mean, Dignitas playing the early game as a Cloud9 average early game, which is incredible.
Yeah, they haven't relented their early pressure. They had that one kind of ill-advised fight at the Raptors, but Xmithy, this is the point where he's got Cinderhulk and a Sedge trying to get back in the game.
Finds a knockup, he's gonna find a stun sooner to Aphromoo. Here comes the setup, here's the follow through, and it just keeps barreling down. Ornn on top as well, Soaz finds the knockup, Ica finds the kill, and bot lane's in shambles.
Yeah, so they're gonna break this bot lane turret. Froggen heavily pushing in mid, Grig taking Rift Herald number 2. It looks like first turret bonus is gonna go over to Immortals though, which is a win.
Nicely done right there, and it gets the game a whole lot closer. Less than 1,000 now separating the squads, as Grig is able to grab the second Herald of the game and maybe crack top with that as Huni continues to push on. He didn't burn his TP to join, just going for the damage here, and it's not quite gonna die without Herald, but it is gonna get low.
Yeah, Huni did have teleport there, but you could see that was definitely a kind of a sneaky play there by Immortals. You don't expect to have the 0-2 jungler flanking behind your turret as the Corki and the Ornn come in, but that's a well-coordinated Ornn play with the way the map was going.
All right, stay tuned for Bile for us to talk about it. 5-4 first half of the split for TSM. Maybe not quite as good as they wanted, but honestly, as we break the end of the day, that could very well be a tie for second for them, which position-wise seems pretty awesome. So we'll see what that looks like, and we'll have more thoughts from him after the game. Otherwise, though, we've got a pretty tight win here, 1,400 gold difference. Immortals tying up a little bit with their bot lane pressure, and Trinity Force done for Corki is a very important power spike, and just in time because the Cloud Drake's in 30 seconds.
Yeah, Cloud Soul, not, just trying to think, like, not,
I think it's big on Mord.
oh yeah, it's actually super big on Mord in terms of Huni's ability to carry the game. I think the underrated part of Cloud Soul is just the 10% movement speed.
Yeah.
Like just actually zooming around the map. It's going to be really hard for Ornn to actually detonate a lot of his brittles from like his W when the other team has 10%. Like the Q-E combo suddenly isn't nearly as reliable when the other team has Cloud Soul.
Yeah.
But it's about the fight before then.
Well, there's the fight right now, and Greg is just stun locked forever. Shockwave only gets onto one, and a great Lantern pulls him to save to Hakuo. He's got to run, it doesn't go far enough, but 1-for-0 so far. Dignitas, they've pulled him at the end of the death realm, but he's able to flash over the wall. The circle is just big enough. That's going to time out. He's going to get to safety.
Oh!
Yeah, he had the package, so he's okay, but still a little interesting. There's the ult on top. They found a nice little route, but Altec is going to be safe as well. Now they're re-engaged 4v5, but Immortals want this one. Huni dropped low. A great hook comes in.
Oh!
And Ica's gone. They found even more. Aggression from Dignitas finds a 4-for-0.
Well, there we go. They could have their cake and eat it too. They're going to get the third Drake as well as being able to drop Rift in mid and crack that for extra gold onto Froggen. Crucial stopwatch check during that fight. 2 quality stopwatches come out from both Aphromoo and Grig, which buy enough time for that fight to turn around hugely in favor of Dignitas.
And here we go, breaking the game open. 4,000 is the gold lead. They've doubled it in the last 3 minutes. Bot lane's gonna fall, make it 4,500 as Huni clears the wave. He's building damage, just dashes 2 seconds. He's really ready to go. And Dignitas are showing absolutely no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, so watch this fight one more time. They know Grig's Flag and Drag is down as you go into control ward, so they say, hey, let's engage on him. Actually get a pretty good stun lock, but the stopwatch does come in before that brittle is detonated that might have killed him. Perfect Lantern for him, and then we're just buying time for the Shockwave to come through. Good flash by Xmithy on the top end, and then Immortal says, hey, let's re-engage. We have a Corki here. Let's go. But it is, as you mentioned, a 5v4, and Grig has managed to get so much of his health back. No one really remembers Grig has his ultimate still. Flag and Drag, comboed with Death Sentence into a 2-man ultimate.
Yeah.
And Huni's Mordekaiser's having his passive ticking that whole time. Really just a lot of patience by Dig in that fight.
And look at that, 7,800 damage out of Huni. Beautifully done right there on the Mordekaiser. The aggressive build definitely paying off out of that one. I did his best to put you in, but definitely not enough. 4,600 did not knock down any of those health bars there. And now as we reset on the map, we are just over 3 minutes away from Soul Point. Dignitas lost a turret. They've lost a couple of kills in fights, but are so far ahead of Immortals right now. Looking to go 5-4 in the first round robin.
That would be good for them. I don't think Froggen got the local goal for that, but also with the current state of the minimap, can totally understand why he would want to run away holding that 200 gold bounty on his head.
I gotta say, Huni's definitely doing a very aggressive build. He's actually going third offensive item. Right, we don't often get to see into Riley's third so quickly. You really, a lot of the time, do see like a Zhonya's come through or a Spirit Visage especially. And with Corki having a lot of the gold, you know, that wouldn't even be a horrible choice, but yeah. Huni's really trying to just kill things. And, you know, he's got enough CC on his team that it probably works out, but a very Huni build coming through on the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I really like the Nashers,
yes.
Assuming he's just going to be ulting tanks. Like, if he's planning on just going into a fight to ult Soaz, I love it, because it's those types of melee, brawly stat checks that the Nashers has the most success in. If he's ulting like a Corki who might have Flash and Valkyrie up within the Death Realm, then maybe it's going to be a little more sketchy.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know what? He's fine.
Yep. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, now, John, I have a question for you. What I just saw was Smithy put a sweeper on, and it revealed the ward, and Altec attacked the ward twice.
Okay.
Aqua walked up and killed the ward.
Yeah.
How much hatred does Aqua have for Altec? To just steal the ward kill?
Well, none. Because you get double ward gold if one person sweeps and another person kills.
Yeah, but Smithy was a sweeper.
Yeah.
Altec was shooting it down.
Yeah.
Altec was going to get 30 gold. Aqua was like, Nautilus auto, my 30 gold.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said Altec, because you should always give it to
Altec's hitting it. Aqua walked up and stole his 30 gold, Jat.
That's one of those, like, trust-depleting exercises. Like, he doesn't hate him, but the next time there's a ward, like, he's going to wonder why his support's walking so close.
Yeah. It's like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
See, Johnson gets that 30 gold. Afro went nowhere near that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, see? Bot lane's feeling a lot better on the one side. I think it's bot synergy difference, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. All right.
Hakuho known for his greed.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got one kill. I mean, how dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1/3 kill share and support. You better be playing Zyra. Well, who need joining the squad there on the top side?
He might have been trying to farm vision score. That could be like in the back of his head.
48 vision score. Highest in the game.
I know.
Selfish.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out to the stats team as well, giving us these new vision score graphics.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Yeah, when you call vision score selfish, that's when you know you've gone like you've tilted like to a full circle, right? You're just like, okay. All right, Infinity Edge next up for Haku. I'm calling it now.
Cloud Soul in 30 seconds as well, so Dig trying to get mid priority. You can see Immortals trying to split the map as much as possible.
Oh, he's really screwed. Okay, nice stopwatch, but can there be a re-engage in time? A flash, he's rooted, and a shockwave. There is no escape from Dignitas.
And they get the teleport from Ica, so it's not even like he was able to get a turret with this nearly uncontestable Cloud Drake coming up. I guess Ornn ult, Nautilus ult, MF ult has to be respected by Dig, but look at all the vision they're clearing. You can't really walk in there if you're Immortals.
No, no way.
They could walk to Baron. Dig needs to rush this and then run to Baron.
I mean, they can definitely have Huni solo that for free and then TP if he needs to. There's actually so much PvE damage on Mord. This is before the Mord jungle buff, but honestly, he doesn't have damage anyway. It's fine. That's going to be Cloud Soul picked up, no problem, and there's not even damage on Baron right now.
Good game by Dignitas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you can lose with the Dragon Soul. It's not the be-all, end-all, but like a 6,000 gold lead, 23-minute Soul, like 2 good damage champions with Mordekaiser and Aphelios to kind of shred through the Ornn items. The Ornn spike is coming.
Yes.
By the way, you can upgrade the Infinity Edge or the Trinity Force on Corki, depending on where it is in Ica's inventory.
Yep.
Slot 1 is the thing that gets upgraded when Ornn clicks on you. And they can upgrade the Infinity Edge, which will be coming soon for Altec. So Immortals would hope to be able to get Ornn to level 14 so we can upgrade both those items, cash in about, 2,000 to 2,500 extra gold of stats, and then maybe try a fight.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, it would close the gold gap by about a third, right? Like that's what's really worth pointing out here. The gold gap closes by a third if you can get those ornaments in. And we'll see if they can make that one happen. As we know, again, Corki is done with that. About 600 gold to go until Altec has his inventory the way he wants it. But it's Dignitas setting up around Baron, which fans know is a bit dangerous, as Aphromoo is getting hit really hard. He's running out of health, and the flash is not enough. The heal is too late. Here comes the re-engage. 5v4 for Immortals. Ult's not going to land. Huni puts the 50 death realm and can't find him. The circle actually overlaps with the terrain. That's ulti down. Can Immortals now find and engage? They've got the Smithy ult still and bullet time over the top.
Nice pick there by Immortals. Aphromoo could never get his Aftershock procced. He didn't have a flay really quickly as they came in to reduce that damage. Ends up burning both summoners and still falling. So that buys that time. Infinity Edge is completed. Altec looks like he's on a recall pattern.
Yep.
About to buy an IE.
it.
Looks like that buys the time they needed.
Molten Edge is in. I think it's a good 30 attack damage for the IE. It's a big power spike. Corki has, by the way, very high ratios. The ulti, I keep calling the ulti. It's the package, has a 1,000 bonus AD ratio. That is 300 package damage added from the Ornn upgrade. Not that you're going to stand in it for 5 whole seconds,
Sure.
but theoretically.
Yeah. Theoretically, Mordekaiser and Aphelios also kill Baron really quick.
Yes. Practically as well, as they're killing it very quickly. And the rest of the squad is zoning. Hakuho forced to run away. Xmithie, not quite marked, now seen. And it's Frog and flash away, afraid of the engage. And it means they're going to pull off, and they couldn't quite get the lantern pull back on a Greg, but still some poke.
Yeah, and I actually don't think that control ward sees the ward in the back of the pit either by Dignitas. Good effort.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like they had the perfect Aphelios guns to try that. I saw no white gun, which is the one that goes...
Yeah, red-white is probably ideal there.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to next patch in Spectator, where we'll see both of his guns that he's currently wielding. That's on live on patch 10.4. Right now, I can say, oh, he has Gravitum and Calibrum, but that's through a lot of clicks.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
All right, that's a green-white. Pretty good deck archetype.
Green-white's actually really good for river fights because you can stack up so many Calibrums with just your turret, then sniper shooting everyone. But here we go. Huni's just so aggressive.
Huni's gonna just go. Oh, Hakuho.
Yeah, he's just dead.
I don't think he's gonna live ever. He's not. He's dead. Here comes the engage now again. Look at the crowd control. It's already 3-0. There is no possible way Immortals wins this fight anymore. Ica is running, but there's the Cataclysm. Shockwave didn't do a whole lot of much, but Ica cannot get the damage down. Johnson gets his 3rd kill of the game, as so is forced to run away. Cannot do anything but watch.
Froggen throws his shockwave sideways. Say, I don't even need this.
He does.
We're going to win the game anyway. That was the Cloud Soul Mordekaiser we talked about. Just training Hakuho instantly with all the bonus movement speed. What a ridiculously one-sided fight that was.
Yep, and in they go with the lantern and the movement speed. I mean, it's all movement speed, right? They're running through the pit as well. That's got to add some on top, and they're ready to hit the Baron right now. Xmithie is alive, but he is just respawning from the base right now, and this almost certainly dies before anyone gets in range. And Dignitas already up 8,500 gold, about to make that 10K with a Baron buff over the top. Dignitas taking care of business.
Woo! Watching this fight one more time. Huni posturing aggressively because he knows the instant someone tries to jump on him, he's just going to ult. He's learned his lesson. Don't ult the Sejuani, she'll hop over a wall. So he ults the Mordecai, the Nautilus, instantly kills him. And then, honestly, Immortals, once Hakuho got ulted, they needed to bail. Because there's no way that Mordekaiser doesn't pop out at full health with extra stats.
Yep.
And they pop out right next to him and get absolutely obliterated. Froggen definitely thought he had the ball on Grig, had it on himself. Ends up sombreroing the air, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good overall, and looks like, Immortals got a blue buff, but Dignitas will not be working overtime out of this one. They are just way too far ahead. Elder Dragon is in a minute. That is, again, one that makes me nervous when I'm the winning team, because its raw power isn't really tied to almost anything. It just is damage, kind of in flat values, and feels like it's a way for a losing team to get back in. So I would just say, okay, let's see to the Baron buff the entire time. You got 2 minutes this one. Knock down bot tier 2.
Oh, so as? Yeah, easily bot tier 2. Even the Elder Drake, look at the control ward setup that actually exists in the jungle right now. So if Dig falls back, it's almost so hard for Immortals. They're just dying. They're just dying.
Oh, that was just a Felios turret hitting the turret and splashing, and then the ult came off over the top. So that's going to single-handedly zone them off the bot lane. Mid's opened up as well. That's 2 inhibs down.
This could be a fight. Xfinity might just try and flank. I mean, may as well.
You have to try. They got Package, they got everything they could possibly use. Here comes the play. They try to land the crowd control, but Package goes backwards to get away from some CC. Huni getting low, though, staying alive all the same. They send him yet again. Shot over the top. Lana gets him out, and Froggen finds that kill as Ika's dropped, and Hakuo is next on the chopping block. A double kill for the Orianna. Cataclysm over the top. Xfinity going to be set up for kill number 3 without an issue. Triple for Froggen. There have only been 3 quadras so far this LCS split. Froggen could be set up for number 4.
Oh, stop. What Froggen wants. He doesn't have cooldown.
Pull him back. Huni grabs one, but give him with Soaz. Get him over there. Here comes the hit. Perfect. Perfect timing for Froggen. And it's going to go over to Aphelios. A triple for the Orianna. A game win in under 30 minutes for Dignitas. Absolutely beautiful.
They really just controlled that game from start to finish. Froggen also learning quickly to shockwave the enemy.
Yeah.
Nailed it in that last fight.
Only took 5 games.
Oh, come on.
I'm kidding. I know. He played really well.
Yeah, he killed Sven, and then he channeled that to kill all of the Immortals by the end of the game. But just, we asked before this game, Freak, about how close the LCS was and how naturally Dignitas is going to win this one against Immortals. But as these teams end up progressing, I'm interested to look at the post-match reactions to this one, because every time Dignitas wins, it's Froggen finally has a team, and oh wow, Grig can actually jungle. And then when they lose, everyone just flames Grig. So I'm going to be, flex my Grig apologist a little bit here.
Yeah, go for it.
When he does well, people should call that out.
Yeah.
And the Dignitas team had very strong pushing lanes that
All
were
3.
very well played around by Grig with constant invading, knowing where Xmithy would be, and that is how Dignitas got their early lead. So
yeah,
credit to the team for playing with the victory. I like the builds, I like the way they moved around and controlled Drake, but it did all start in the early game with those jungle invades.